السلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, first we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has afforded us and granted us the tawfiq. We have performed our Maghrib Salah wal Jama'ah, alhamdulillah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to regularly make dua after completing any righteous deed. He used to say, Alhamdulillahi alladhi bi ni'matihi tatimmu salihat. That all praise is due to Allah, that through His ni'mah, through His bounty, that I have performed a righteous deed. And it's only through the qudra and the ability which Allah has given to us, and Allah selecting us to be in the masjid, that we have performed our salah. And for that reason, we need to always acknowledge, and we first always need to show gratitude unto Allah for having selecting us to be of those who are in the masjid and to make dua that Allah accept our salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us sincerity and istiqamah in our worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. This evening a beautiful hadith narrated by Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تصدق بعدل تمرة من كسب طيب ولا يقبل الله إلا الطيب فإن الله يتقبلها بيمينه ثم يربيها لصاحبها كما يربي أحدكم فلوه حتى تكون مثل الحبل أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrates, he says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that indeed whoever gives, none of you gives in charity what is equal to one date fruit. So whoever spends in the path of Allah, even if it is equal to one date fruit, equal to a date, says Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But on condition he spend equal to a date with the honestly earned money. He spent in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with honestly earned money. And then Rasulullah reminds us, the Ummah, and he says that وَلَا يَقْبَلُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا الطَّيِّبِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept anything except that it is pure. So the first thing we need to acknowledge and we need to remind ourselves that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala measure our deeds, me and you as insan, we measure our deeds. Sometimes we're fascinated with quantity. The more I can give and the more I can do, then we feel that we have achieved our goal. And we feel that automatically, because of the amount I've given, Allah has accepted it. Here Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminds us of a very important point, especially when it comes to spending in the path of Allah. He reminds us sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah is the most pure. Allah is pure and Allah accepts only that things which is pure. Allah accepts only deeds that is pure, firstly in terms of its intention, that for who are we doing it? We're doing it solely for the pleasure of Allah, to earn the pleasure of Allah, for no one else. And when it comes to sadaqah, spending charity in the path of Allah, with a sincere intention comes to spend in the path of Allah our pure wealth, wealth that is earned with the hands, says Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or money that is earned via halal means. And then says Rasulullah, whoever spends, even if it is one date, imagine even if it is one date, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, what will happen to that person if he spends one date from pure wealth? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah will take it in His right hand, and Allah will enlarge its reward for that person. As any one of you brings to, if any one of you, like any one of you brings up a baby horse. As a baby horse, it brings up so much so that it becomes as big as a mountain. So Allah, so Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us that because of the pure wealth that we use and we buy a date, we give that small date in sadaqah because it is sincerely given to Allah, and maybe that is all I can afford. But because it is given sincerely and it is given with such a pure wealth and earned wealth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nurtures and looks after that sadaqah, like how me and you look after a baby horse or a baby animal and we raise it up, and then after a few years you find it has grown up into a big horse or a dog, whatever the case might be, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that date, it will grow to the extent of a mountain. It will grow to the extent of a mountain in sadaqah, says Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So imagine you come on the day of Qiyamah, you have given a date in charity for the pleasure of Allah, but you have given it, you have really given it from your pure wealth, sincerely, that, Ya Rab, this is from my last wealth. This is all I can afford. Allah accept it from me. You give it for the pleasure of Allah. Imagine coming on the day of Qiyamah, you find it same sadaqah. You find it is as big as a mountain. Why? Because of our sincerity and the pureness of the wealth in which we spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we as Muslims should always remind ourselves, we shouldn't become distracted with quantity. Yes, quantity is needed at times. But what is the value of quantity if it is not accompanied with sincerity and purity? What is the worth of 1 million rand spent in the path of Allah if it comes from haram income? What is the value of 1 million rand if it comes with the insincere intention? There's no value to it, because everything belongs to Allah. That 1 million, 1 billion, it is nothing in the eyes of Allah. Allah is the one who's given it to us. So when Allah expects me and you to give in return, to invest, Allah doesn't want quantity necessarily. Allah wants quality and purity of wealth and sincerity of wealth and sincerity in intention. So when we spend, and whatever amount we spend, we should always check, taken from the Hadeeth, make sure that our intention is pure, and make sure that the wealth we spend it with, it comes from halal means, it is pure wealth. And if those two things is in place, says Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that charity, no matter how small it might be, on the day of Qiyamah, it will be like the size of mountains. So my beloved brothers, sisters in Islam, we make dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability. Allah make us of those who spend our wealth in the path of Allah. Allah make us of those that when we spend our wealth, we spend it sincerely for the pleasure of Allah. And make us of those, when we come on the day of Qiyamah, we find that sadaqah will be the size of mountains. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Rasulullah mentioned in the Hadith, we ask Allah to give us a tawfiq and understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillah. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah.